Welcome, and follow me, the Xiaomi Redmi 7, and today I'll show you a couple of tweaks and tricks that I can do on this device. So we're going to begin with the one that is, I guess, the most useful in my opinion, which is a split screen, and it will allow you to use two different apps at the same time. And the way you launch it is, number one, open up some kind of app. So open, not really sure if it's going to work with those two. Tap on right here, and what you want to do is grab a app and drag it, but yep, there we go. So this one is compatible, the contacts is not, but as you can see, it adds one app on top right there, and you can click the home button and choose a different app that you wish to open. So I could open up, for instance, my browser and could use two different apps. Now the best use in my opinion for this is to just exit this when you're using YouTube, for instance, right? As you all know, when you're trying to multitask with YouTube and you leave it, it basically pauses the music. Now this will allow you to continue to have the music playing. Disconnect to network. There we go. So this will allow you to have the music continue to play while not actually pausing it when you're not in the app. So let it just load. Okay, so there we go. So let me just open some kind of video. It's more, okay, their sound is off. So as you all know, if I click the home button, it pauses it. Now what you can do now is just tap on the split screen, grab YouTube, drag it on up here, click play. You can also click home, and then for instance open up your web browser like so. Skip the ad, you can resize this a bit. As you can see, it continues to play while I'm using something different. So it's a neat way to just listen to music and just multitask in general. Let me just close this now. There we go. Now moving on, I want to show is the developer options, and in there is the option to shorten the animations of the device. So as you'll know, everything that you do is more animated. Whatever you click has this kind of like different animations of zooming in, out, minimizing, and stuff like that. So if you want to shorten it or completely remove the animations, you actually can, even though there is no settings actually, like if you would search for it in the settings. So what you want to do is go into, where is it? Gonna be right here. I'm not really sure where the info about the devices, so bear with me. Account, Google, just search about phone, there we go. And from here, device name, system update. Normally it's called build number, but I think right here it's gonna be under something else. Nope, not under this. There we go. So MIUI version. So as you can see, after you tap it 7 times, it gives you a message, you are now a developer. Now if you go back, just cancel the search and search for developer options right here, and from here you want to scroll down to, where is it, right here. So you have window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animation duration scale. Now each one of them corresponds to different animations. So for instance, the animation window animation scale is this little window that just slid up, and I can set it 2 times 10, so you get a drastic difference of how it affects it. with the speed, so that's how it's basically times 10. If you set it to off, now it will be just instant. There is no animation whatsoever. Now, the best of both worlds probably would be 0.5. It will allow you to have animations while drastically reducing the speed of them, so you can see they're much snappier. But if you prefer to completely get rid of them, you can just set it all to off. And now, as you will see, apparently there's still some animation, but most of the animations, for instance, like the zooming of application or zooming out, minimizing, is now completely gone. So moving on, I'm gonna go into the gesture gesture navigation, which allows you to just change the buttons to something a little bit more modern, like most of the devices now have. And to do it, you want to go into the settings, just again cancel the search. So, and the settings, go into the full screen display. It's gonna be right. Nope. There it is, full screen display. And from here, you have the two options. Now they're kind of like animated. So what you want to do is just go into the full screen gestures like so. Now, if you're enabling these for the first time, and it's gonna pop you up with this message to learn the gestures. Now you can completely skip it if you already are aware of how they work. Now I'm gonna just touch up on them just so you can see. You have basically the three different functions. So learn. First one is swipe from the bottom quickly, so that's the close. Now, and pause, that's recent. And then swipe from the edges, that's back button, and you can swipe it from each side. Now normally it actually gives you a little animation of how you're supposed to swipe. Not sure why it didn't do it right here, but as you can see, swipe up closes, or swipe up quickly, it closes it, so like so. If you swipe up and hold, it opens up a recent, and then back is just, well, your back button. Yeah, so moving on, I'm gonna touch up on the second space, which will allow you just to create an additional space on your device. So you could divide the device into, for instance, work phone and home phone in a way. So all the documents and stuff like that that you would need for work would be on one space, and they won't be accessible on, for instance, this space. So if I would go into the settings and let's see, again, it's going to be easier to search for it. Second space right here, and just turn on second space. Now for this to work normally, you'd actually, or for this to work fluidly, you would need to set up two different patterns. So just continue, switch between set now. Okay, so there it is. Second space password. Okay, so we need to first set the passcode for the first space. So I'm gonna stick with the pattern. Okay, so this is gonna be the first space. So like so. And now this is the okay, there it is. There's the second space pattern. So it's gonna go like so, and confirm. And now whichever passcode you use, the pattern, it will access two different spaces. So you can also add a fingerprint. So you could theoretically use, for instance, your index finger as a first space, and then well, let's say right hand index finger as a first space, and then second space your left hand index finger. Now it doesn't really matter how you set it up, as long as you remember which pattern and fingerprint or whatever it's associated with what space. Now I'm gonna skip this just to preserve on time. As you can see, we're right now in the second space. Now if I were to lock the device, this pattern will access second space, which has all of its independent files, while drawing this pattern, we'll access the first space, which again has also independent files. All the settings, wallpapers will be different between spaces, files, downloaded images, anything that you have changed on each will basically act like a completely separate phone. So it's a, like I said, handy feature to just have it to kind of like separate specific, I guess, workspaces from each other. And the last thing that I want to show is just a simple one. If you want to record some kind of screen, whatever you're doing, you have an option in the pull down menu. So if you go in here and you'll find this button right here, screen recording. So once you tap on it, it will start counting down. Actually, it's immediate. And whatever you do now will basically be recorded. So you can give someone a guide or just record whatever you want, whatever you're doing on the display. And once you're done, just tap on the next square right here to stop it. It gets saved, as you can see right here. Tap on allow, and now I can play it back. As you can see, this is the recording. Just a simple way, but allows you to just record something if you want to show someone or just posted something. So that is basically all the tweaks and tricks that I'm going to share. And if you found them helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.